Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's layout we are doing a 12 by 12 layout is what I decided, because I'm going to be working I think in another like circle-y shape. Or maybe I'll do 8 by 10, but I have 12 by 12 pulled. So I am once again working with a Traci Reed collection. She has printables and I'm doing the Fierce collection, that's the name right there, which is the June release. And it is celebrating Pride Month, but the whole collection is very rainbow and I can use it to tell other stories. So that is what I'm doing. I'm using it once again to tell a story probably about, I haven't printed the photo yet, but because I know where I'm going. My daughter's graduation from VPK, just because I have a cute little one of her in her cap and gown that I think I want to scrap. I just haven't printed it. And for today's video, I am doing a scrap lift from someone else on our design team. I will go ahead and probably put the picture in the footage right now. It is Miss Teresa, who I am scrap lifting, and she did a wonderful layout that used a lot of paper piecing. Hopefully you're seeing the layout, and made it into a heart shape. Now, like I said, scrap lifting is almost like doing a sketch. And so I'm using it as inspiration, especially for the paper piecing. But like I said, I think I'm going to do it into a circle just to change it up a little bit, but still kind of overall get the inspiration from her. So in that paper piecing moment, I feel like I'm just going to cut all of the cards that I have. So there, I printed out all of the 4x6 and 3x4s initially. So cutting these into strips, that way I have all the colors. And I also feel like if I have enough of everything, to do it in a rainbow cascading order around here as well. So let me not chit chat any further, because this probably has to morph into the project that it needs to be. But at least you can see my starting place of the paper piecing and where it's going to come from. The photo I will be scrapping, her cap and gown, because I think that's what I want to do, is purple. So I also just love it for that and this rainbow collection. And that it's a scrap lift. And I haven't actually scrap lifted any fellow creators in a while. So maybe it would be wise maybe to turn it into a series too, because I used to do this back in the day, like a scrap lifting Saturday, I think, or whatever it was, or Sunday. We're talking like in the beginning of my channel. So let's get started. Okay, so to get this layout started, I cut the 4x6 papers into like 1/2 inch to 1 inch strips, but the length of 4 inches. So that's what I made sure to keep it at. And this was just a repetitive process to get all the patterns kind of seen, and made sure to include a good array of the rainbow and all of the patterns that this collection has to offer. So this takes some time, you know, listen to an audiobook, cut paper. Okay, and with the fun of editing, you can just see where I got the paper piecing and kind of putting it together in a rainbow order. I had the solid colors together and then putting the rainbow pieces in between to break it up. And just looking at it like this, I feel like the red, the yellow, and this blue section are kind of harsh once they're not stuck together or anything. So I'm feeling like I might just mix them all together randomly and put this together. That way it's just like a color explosion rather than designated like red home, you know, orange, yellow, green, blue, and pink, which is what I was doing right now. So I just like to always kind of interrupt the filming pleasure just so you can see that there's always a process to, even for me, for scrapbooking, you know, like an idea that I thought, you know, doing it in rainbow order is a good idea. And maybe if it was just not intertwining the rainbow pieces, the rainbowy busier ones, it could have worked. So in this situation, like I said, I just wanted to show you where I was and how I'm going to change it up and do just randomness. And then here's the picture that I was scrapping. I printed it and you can see how bold that purple cap and gown is. So I will use my die cut and cut out that circle, and then that will sit in the center. And then I also found, I had this since Easter, this like purple trim that I picked up randomly from the Dollar Tree. And it was during Easter, and I have like a pink pack and a green pack, but it has purple rickrack and purple pom-pom trim. I don't think I can use this one because, yeah, it does say Easter on it. But I thought I might have some sort of extra texture with that. So let's get started still. Okay, so yeah, once I had them all kind of like color blocked like that, I really didn't like it.
So the randomness was definitely going to be the way to go. So I used you saw me use the circle die cut to kind of get a placement so that I knew I wanted to have a little bit of overhang. And once again, this part is just done at random. So take your time, listen to an audiobook, maybe play your favorite music, because not to say it's tedious. I love this process. You know what I mean? This creative process that kind of happens for a layout to come together. But for some that maybe don't enjoy the process, of course, do something that will kind of buy the time, or even if you watch a show, I'm sure it could help doing this, because I don't know. Obviously, with the editing, I bring this down a lot in speed, so I can't. I think maybe it was like, 10-minute process, maybe longer. I can't remember. But overall, random, as you can see. I just kind of grabbed, and I just always made sure like that two pages I put down were never touching, so that it was always like an alternating something. It could be every other, but it was definitely never touching. And that we kind of just, and I knew in the end too, I wanted to just have them kind of fan up or have some dimension with them bending up, but I'll get to that later. So I will use my manual die cutting machine to cut the photo. The purple of this her cap and gown is just perfect for a rainbow layout regardless, right? So that's what kind of is great. And I do think I need to get new plates for my manual die cutting machine, because the plate impressions from all the cuts and the things I have on there textured the heck out of that photo, and I just didn't want to print it, so I just kept it as so. So that purple pom-pom trim is definitely going to come into play. So I took the liberty of also matting my photo on white paper, because it just felt like it needed it once I did it. But I then did it twice and cut another circle, and that's what you see me stapling the pom-pom trim to, because I didn't want to put staples into the photo. So that was just the way to kind of rectify it, like having another cardstock mat in the same size. I stapled the pom-pom trim, so now it rests on top, and then you won't even see the innards of that kind of layering. And between it, I did put a piece, here I am, of fun foam to make sure I had that dimension, because those staples were gonna cause dimension anyway. So I just added fun foam to make sure that it had what it needed to stay as a good solid piece and add more dimension to a layout like this. So I then wanted to use a couple of the elements. So those little colorful strips will hold my journaling in the lower right corner. And then I have two sets of thickers that I'm using, one that says congrats, and then I have a pink glitter set that's a Valentine's Day collection that says let's celebrate. I use both of them. I was trying to audition one or the other, but in the end, the more the merrier. And so I know you've probably seen me. I've scrapped photos from her graduations like on a few layouts already, you guys. I'm just so stinking proud. And I took such good pictures that I want all of them used. So definitely a proud moment. She is just adorable. And here I am just adding a few gold splatters with the Heidi Swap Color Shine. And that will wrap up this layout. It definitely is adorable, and I promise to scrap other photos.
Okay, that will finish this layout. So I went ahead and added those thickers for a title, and with having them on here, I couldn't keep the rest of it dimensional, but we can certainly keep the dimension for the rest of the layout. Fanning it up, adding the pom-pom trim and the little rickrack is such a cute element, especially when you are working with printables. Usually, obviously, since they're printables just on paper, they tend to stay flatter unless you have the means to print it on chipboard maybe, or vellum. So it's always an added fun twist to add, things that give it a little bit more texture. I added these three labels here, and once the gold splatters dry, I will just add in a little bit of my journaling on that bottom corner. But yeah, the Rainbow Fierce collection by Traci Reed for this 12 by 12 layout. So cute. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, everyone, bye.